The mahogany doors of Whitmore Mansion slammed shut behind me with a sound that felt like a sentence being passed. Rain had already started to fall. Cold, heavy, unforgiving. My mother-in-law, Patricia, stood at the top of the marble steps like she owned the world and everyone in it. Poor girls don't belong in our family. Sophia, she said, her voice sharp with satisfaction. I don't know what fantasy Marcus sold you, but it ends here. Take your suitcase and go back to whatever place you crawled out of. I didn't move at first. Not because I was afraid, because I was watching inside the mansion. I could see him. Marcus, my husband, standing behind the curtain, upstairs, watching me be thrown out of his life without saying a single word. No defense. No intervention. No hesitation. Just silence. Patricia followed my gaze and smiled like she enjoyed what she saw. My son is an executive, she continued. He's going to be CEO. He doesn't need this. Her eyes dragged over me like I was a stain. A woman with nothing but student loans and poor manners. I'm in management, I said quietly. She laughed. That's adorable. Her husband, Richard, stepped forward, adjusting his watch. The car will take you to the station, he said. Be grateful we're not making this harder. Divorce papers will follow. You'll receive a settlement. Enough to disappear quietly. I bent down and picked up my suitcase. Expensive. Designer. Paid for by me. Shabby. Patricia had called it earlier. Ignorance has a strange confidence. Before I got in the car, I turned back one last time. You don't actually know who I am, I said. Patricia tilted her head. Oh, sweetheart. We know exactly who you are. Nobody. I smiled, because I knew something they didn't single quotes T. and had for a long time. The ride away from the mansion was silent, but I didn't go to the bus station. I called my driver. Yes, I had one. And no, I didn't live the life they thought I did, because Sophia, the obedient wife, was never the full story. It was a disguise, a carefully chosen one. 3 years earlier, I met Marcus at a charity gala. He thought I was just another quiet woman in a simple dress. He liked that. He liked feeling like the successful one. He talked about his executive role, his future CEO path, his powerful connections, and I let him because I was curious how long the illusion would last. Long enough to become a marriage. Too long to stay harmless. The truth cracked everything open a month ago. I went to his office to surprise him. Nexus Technologies, my company, filled 3 glass towers downtown. I asked for Marcus Whitmore. Reception frowned. No executive by that name. I smiled. Strategic development. Typing. Searching. Then, oh, him. Facilities. Basement level. Silence hit my chest like a dropped weight. I went down. And there he was. Gray uniform. Cleaning cart. Avoiding my eyes. Sophia. He said, you work here. I asked. His face collapsed. I didn't tell you because I thought you believed I was successful. That was the moment I understood the real problem. Not that he had lied, but that he needed the lie to exist. Back in my office, I opened his file. 3 years of clean attendance, quiet work, no ambition, no honesty either. Then my phone exploded. Messages. Calls. Panic. Where are you? My parents said you left in another car. Why does your building say S. Winters owns the penthouse? I didn't answer. Instead, I called HR. Pull everything on Marcus Whitmore. When the file arrived, I didn't feel rage. Just clarity. Because this wasn't a man trapped by circumstance. This was a man building a second life on top of silence. And I had helped him do it that night. I wrote the email. To Patricia. To Richard. I attached everything. Employment records. Security footage. Pay slips. Then I added mine. Keynotes. Financial statements. Ownership records. At the top. Regarding your son's executive career. The message was calm. Almost polite, but devastating in its simplicity. Marcus was not an executive. He was a janitor, and I was not a secretary. I was the person who signed his paycheck. Then I added one final line. The problem isn't his job. It's that he's been lying. And you taught him that appearances matter more than truth. Send. But the fallout was immediate. Calls, panic, denial. Then came Marcus's message. I did love you. I just loved the idea of being someone important more. I stared at it for a long time, then deleted it. Because love that depends on illusion is not love. Its performance. 3 months later, the divorce was done. Marcus disappeared from my life. His parents retreated into silence, and I returned to mine, the real one. At a tech conference weeks later, a young woman approached me after my keynote. I've been hiding my success from my partner, she said, because he gets insecure. But hearing you, I think I've been shrinking myself for no reason. I looked at her. You don't need to shrink for someone who can't stand your height, I said. She smiled and walked away a little taller. Patricia had been wrong about one thing. She thought she was throwing out a poor girl, but I was never poor. I was just underestimated. And Marcus, he didn't lose me because I was powerful. He lost me because he needed me to be less than him, and I stopped pretending.